Britney Spears recently posted another audio venting session, this time on her Instagram instead of YouTube. The last one was like 22 minutes long. This one was 3 minutes long. So we can show you a couple of clips from it. Basically, at the end of it, she announces that she is now an atheist. And it's because she doesn't believe a God can exist if he allowed something like all the struggles she's been through to happen to her.
And I wanted to hear your opinion on that, but let's listen to the clip first.
Yeah, so it's also directed at her sons, too, who haven't been seeing her.
So I'm going to play the part from 24 seconds, right?
Yeah, 24 seconds, and then we can play the end.
Do you guys want me to get better so I can continue to give your dad 40 grand a month?
It's not always about...
Oh, I sent you one.
I can totally
you
understand why my family would have a problem with. So, Jaden, as you undermine my behavior, just like my whole family always has, I hope she gets better. I will pray for her. Pray for what? I keep working so I can pay off mom's legal fees in her house. Do you guys want me to get better so I can continue to give your dad 40 grand a month? Or is the reasoning behind you guys deciding to be hateful is because it's actually over in 2 years and you don't get anything? I will say it. I sat in that kitchen and looked you straight in the eyes, beautiful boy, and said, how come I can't see you guys anymore? Or just see you guys more.
And
I look forward to seeing you guys
seconds.
weekly. You said, Mama, oh, it'll change. You and your brother left me in that house always 2 hours early. I feel you all secretly like to say something's wrong with me. My family has been to me, and that's all you know. Like I said, I feel you all secretly like to say something's wrong with me. Honestly, my dad needs to be in jail for the rest of his life. But like I said, God would not allow that to happen to me if a God existed. I don't believe in God anymore because of the way my children and my family have treated me. There is nothing to believe anymore. I'm an atheist, y'all.
Does the I'm an atheist y'all part kind of undermine the
bumper sticker?
seriousness?
That's bumper sticker material.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird tone throughout the whole video, and I really don't like just like the sound of I guess dejectedness and cynicism in her voice. That's not what I heard in the last clip she posted.
Yeah.
Her last clip was more like hopeful and talking about how she's grown from what she's gone through, and now...
Also, is this really stuff to even put out in the public?
Absolutely not, and I don't think it's okay that she would address her kids, one of whom is not even 18 yet, which is why she said you have 2 more years, and then you don't get anything. That means the one is 16 and the other is 18. She addressed them personally in a video she knows is going to be viewed by millions of people, and she's essentially sicking the entire internet, which dogmatically supports her. I don't, but sicking the entire internet on her kids who never asked to be in the public eye, who have been raised in this insanity their entire lives, who likely have had so much of the truth hidden from them for years, had so many things still to this day twisted, the narrative like completely twisted, and they don't know the truth. They know part of it, that they don't know who to believe, and I think everyone's telling them something different. All they know is that their mom is unstable and she's incapable of caring for herself or them properly.
It's incredibly sad. Like her voice, like you were saying, like the tone is horrible. It's
I think it's really just a tone of like kind of cruelty,
nihilism. Like
I hate it.
Sounds I don't want to say unhinged because she doesn't sound unhinged, but she
sounds broken to me.
She's completely broken, and I agree. She probably shouldn't be doing this in public, but she probably also doesn't know any other way of doing it. Her whole life has been public, and that's, I mean, it's not her fault really, because she's probably kind of sold into celebrity to Hollywood at such a young age. But when she says I'm atheist, y'all, like that to me is just silly, and it almost seems like this is a new shave your head moment. Where I'm gonna cut something down, like whether it's spiritual or physical, to kind of get back to the people who claim to love me. Yeah. But I don't know. It just seems. I mean,
it feels like emotional blackmail.
An adult should lead by example by not making this public. Like she should. I mean, I don't know if I should say she should know better, but she should understand the gravity of what she's doing by making this a public matter.
If she resents Kevin Federline going to the media and talking about all of this, making it public, then why is she won't relent with the public input on everything, and she won't relent with the social media behavior that her sons find disturbing, like posting almost nude selfies all the time. Like, who would feel comfortable with their mom, who is like 40 something, doing that?
Yep.
Let's talk about God real quick, though. Like, it seems like she's never read the Bible. I mean, if she's never read Job, I mean, Job is nothing but suffering. And so
right. And I don't want to discredit that she's like, you know, read up on her own
Tell me about
religion, but like, tell you
about Job.
Let's read it all real quick for Pop Culture Crisis. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's an entire book of the Bible centered around this man who was he was a devoted believer and a good man, and he had a lot of riches, and he was just a magnanimous man. And then God, to make it a long story short, God permits the devil to meddle in his life and his person and oppress him for a very long time. He loses everything he has, and he becomes like covered in boils, physically ill.
Takes his family.
He ends up cursing his own birth, and then God comes back. He shows up, and he's like, "Who do you think you are, cursing your own birth like that?"
There's a character in the show Banshee named Job, played by Hoon Lee. I was just curious.
So there's also a Job in Arrested Development.
There you go.
But
it's a powerful name.
She doesn't have. I don't say she should know her Bible and stuff, but it's just like.
Well, that's essentially not what belief in God is about. It's not about having someone to protect you from all of the struggles in life.
It's not a conservatorship.
It's not a conservatorship. Yes. Yeah.
Maybe this video is just more proof of maybe the whole Free Britney movement was like a collective, absurd problem of wanting this woman to fall into the nihilism that we're seeing now. Because those nude videos are not right. Not that I give a crap if you're going to post new stuff,
but it doesn't come from a place that says she is doing this with full knowledge of what she's doing.
She still seems like a hostage when she posts those videos, and they're not right. They're not right. Like, yeah, it's a really weird thing going on.
It always feels like she's still under someone's thumb.
So it says Jane also disapproved of his mother's Instagram use, saying it's almost like she has to post something on Instagram to get some attention. This has gone on for years and years and years, and there's a high chance that this will never stop. But I'm hoping for me that she will stop. I mean, she kind of frames him as being like the bad person in this, and
I think it's because he's the older son.
Yes.
Too.
He comes across to me as somebody who's just trying to...
Accusing her kids, and especially her older kid who's only 18, of not valuing her as a person, of secretly enjoying watching her downfall, of secretly enjoying framing her as the problem in their family. I understand why she'd feel the rest of her family has done that.
You could make
the
argument...
ones who arranged this conservatorship in the first place, but not your sons, and not, even if you believe those things, do not like say that to the world, who is then going to demonize them. Yeah. Because she gets endless confirmation bias, anything she wants. Like, the Free Britney movement became the Britney is right about everything movement, and Britney is free no matter what you think movement, and she is not free. She's
almost
not making free decisions right
now.
They're
saying that like it afforded her wisdom. Like
no,
that's like it seems like that's what they're saying.
It only gave her the freedom to self-destruct. More, and it's like I understand also why she would hate people thinking she's incapable, because that was the lie that they used to immobilize her when she was capable. But it's that very abuse that has stunted her growth to this point, where she is not capable of taking care of her life and her money.
Before, I think, on this show, where some celebrities are stunted at the age they became famous, right? And if that's, I mean, seems like a pretty clear example of that for her. She's clearly stunted in like almost like a teenager. Yeah. Even though she probably became famous much earlier than that as
she was a Mickey
Mouseketeer.
She was a Mouseketeer.
But I wonder like how much she even knows her own kids and vice versa.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, it comes across as something where Jaden defends his grandfather. She sees her father as a monster. He sees him.
He did monstrous things, but I'm sure in other areas of his life, he's a perfectly nice guy. That's humanity for you.
That's
a little too complex for me to take in. You think?
Yeah, like
I think everything's black and white, Mary.
That's what this video feels like. She sees everyone and everything as black and white.
Yeah. One of the hard things about doing this job, I think, is people kind of expect you to see everything. And if you develop a show, not a following, but like people that like your stuff, and they agree with you on one thing, they expect you to agree with them on everything. Yeah. Not by design, like they think they're always right, but they're just kind of they see you as somebody who, if you agreed on that one thing, then that means you must think similarly all around.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous thing to do.
I'm not a fan of the idea of black and white on most issues.
No. I think you should always keep people around who you could agree with on certain things, or listen to that and disagree on other things, because that'll strengthen your own immune system of ideas.
I would say the worst thing that she could have. Stop it! Lights.
There go the lights again.
Stop it, lights, guys.
I'll consult the ghost real quick. Hold on.
Come on, Shane. I've been up here all day. Not a flicker of light.
It's this guy.
It's you. It's you.
All right, let's turn off the lights and have a seance real quick.
Let's not.
You got candles, Mary?
I'm Catholic.
We can still get an exorcist.
We can do that.
Let's do an exorcism on me right now, live. Pop culture crisis.
So to me, it's one of those things where when we talked about this, the first time we talked about Britney, we had to kind of preface look, I'm not saying I'm more in the liberty camp. I think she should be free to spend her money as she wants. If she wants to self-destruct, I think that's her right. Do I think it's right of her to do that when she's got kids and family? No, I don't. But I don't think that means that you use a government form and document to keep her locked up and away from her freedom. But in this case, it seems like there's more and more evidence that she's not doing with that freedom. She's not using it in a positive way.
And it makes me suspicious of this man she married.
Sam Asghari,
think about how they talk about these things in private, and why is she coming to the conclusions she's coming to? That her family secretly loves watching her at her lowest. And specifically her sons. I don't think they would ever have given her a reason to think that.
Yeah.
It's just cruel to accuse them of that.
The making it public was the worst part of it. Their children.
They barely understand what is going on.
Do you think this is she phrased it as that her suffering through these trials and the way that her family life has been is what makes her no longer believe in God? Does that seem like a common place to take?
That's
traumatic.
Such a common mindset these days,
for a
and
teenager.
It's so sad.
Can you explain?
I mean, not just for a teenager, for so many adults, for elderly people.
That's true.
Even it's all ages, all stages of life.
That's true.
Come to this conclusion.
Do you think that's a modern thing though, a modern phenomenon? Because
it's always been
because of a society that theoretically suffers less than previous generations.
It's proliferated today, I think, because of there are so many factors to this, but the abundance of distractions we have, and the prosperity gospel that certain Christian preachers sell to people.
Can you explain that?
Joel Osteen is a prevalent preacher who
I only know about through Babylon Bee memes.
A lot of people would say he preaches a prosperity gospel, which is that if you believe in Jesus Christ and accept him as your savior, then you will see material outcomes that are beneficial to you. And that has never been authentic to scripture. The whole message really of Jesus was that people are going to hate you for following me, and give up your possessions and follow me. Put down everything. Live simply. So I think maybe prosperity gospel being common, and especially in the U.S., might have something to do with this.
You had a good point with too many distractions too, because social media has given the illusion of immortality to people, and they don't really grow up. It's like immortal teenagers.
We talk a lot about stunted the fact that adults are growing up less and less.
Right. My wife and I always make fun of people who say they're adulting.
I hate that term.
Right? It's so you're just in a costume today. as an adult, as a 35-year-old adult. That's insane to me. And like, there are people having less kids or having no kids at older ages. So all that makes people, I think, have.
There's a lot of blackpilling around that concept where like there's memes that talks about like you can only have kids if you're crazy or rich.
Yeah, that's
like that's a very common thing to hear now. Like only crazy people or rich people have kids.
We had $200 when we had our first son. Our first
now we have 201.
Now we have 205.
Depending on how much they give us.
Now we have Dogecoin.
He's like, depending on how many of these super chats come my way.
Oh man, no, that's true. But that is, I'm being very serious. We literally were living out of a car. We had an apartment, but we were in a car going to multiple places of jobs. But like having a kid was tantamount.
Thank you.
And brought us joy that no materialism could buy. So I think that's insane when people say that. It's a cop out. So
I think Britney is clearly attached to her money and what it means to other people, maybe more.
Does $40K a month sound light to you guys? Somebody said that in the
to
chat.
Britney Spears' estate.
Yeah.
Yes,
everything's relative.
But I think she feels taken advantage of, rightly so, because she's worked as pretty close to a slave for a long time.
Yeah, call me a fence sitter, but on this topic, I, as much as I disagree with her actions as far as like making about her son in public, I absolutely understand where the defense mechanism comes from.
But I hate that she's acting like her sons are taking advantage of her through this child support, an agreement which was made before they were even aware of what child support means, what divorce means, what custody means. Yeah. Like, they're not responsible for that. If you have a problem with the fact that you give $40,000 a month to your ex-husband, take it up with him. Don't use it as something to bludgeon your children with.
Can we just real quick talk? I mean, she's one of the best pop stars, I think, that we've ever had in terms of music.
She had her moment. I think they took over her music and her creative control early enough that for a long time her music has been mid.
She is like a conduit of writers. So I don't think she is the artist herself, but she's like the avatar for a lot of like 20 teen writers, because all her songs are written by committee, like Brett always says.
Like even when EDM came into pop music, they used EDM in her music instantly, and I don't even think she decided on that.
Those are good songs. I always feel like they just prop her up like Weekend at Bernie's, even back then, to sing the songs, but they're good songs.
I still think of the song Lucky. That's like one that's going to go down in history.
Till the World Ends.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great song.
Yeah.
That's a great song.
I love that song.
Yep.
That's just one of those songs she has that like in her discography that don't feel like she had anything to do with it. Like, it doesn't even feel like she sang it. No, it feels like somebody else sang it, and they just, credit it as Britney Spears.
I feel like eventually her voice will just become a plug-in in Pro Tools.
Like T-Pain on iPhones.
It's literally like Blade Runner 2049 hologram celebrity. Like
in the 90s,
I was Mary with that A+ pop culture reference right there. Loved it.
A+.
In
the 90s, I was definitely more of a Christina Aguilera fan.
Oh yeah, me too.
In terms of that,
until she started like sex toy dancing at places with children.
Oh, that was Well, that was much later in life.
Yep.
She was like considered the edgy foil to Britney Spears at the time, which is funny.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.